Good morning and welcome back. Now today's video is going to be emulsified body butter. Now why emulsified and not whipped? That remains to be the question. Now with the emulsified body butter there are quite a lot of benefits to it and very little downsides, but we will get to that in a minute. Okay, on the table I've got here our three different phases. I've got a water phase, and then I've got a heated water phase, a heated oil phase, and then we've got a cool down phase. So these are all our water ingredients, these are going to be all our oily ingredients, and then these are our heat sensitive ingredients that we're going to add when our mixture cools down after we mixed it. And then obviously you need a container to decant your cream into, or your body butter into it. Okay, the first ingredient is good old water. Now with oils nourish, it protects, and it will moisturize your skin, but it does not hydrate, and your skin needs to be hydrated as well. So the other thing with water is the moment when you add water to your formulation, you have a gazillion different options that is water soluble, that's not maybe oil soluble. Like glycerin, you can add glycerin to it. You can do glycerides. Now glycerides are herbs or even fruits that are infused in glycerin, and then you can add that to your mixture, which you cannot do if it's an anhydrous formulation. So you can even add water soluble vitamins like vitamin A and vitamin B. So yes, the options really expand a lot the moment when you add water to your formulation. Other upsides are it is a little bit of a lighter formulation, so it absorbs really quickly into your skin. And if you are selling your skincare products, or get to a point where you want to sell it one day, water actually brings down the cost a lot. So there's basically all of the bits of are actually benefits. The only downsides are you're going to need a preservative. The moment when you add water to a formulation, all living stuff needs water to survive. So your molds and your yeast and your bacteria, all of them needs water. So if you make an anhydrous formulation without any water, you don't need a preservative. But the moment when you add water to it, you need a broad spectrum. So, but we will get later to the preservatives that I'm going to use in here. But that's the only downside, is you're going to need an extra ingredient that you usually don't do. And the other ingredient is you're going to need the emulsifying wax, because you need to get the oil and the water to emulsify in a stable emulsion, so it's not going to split up later. And beeswax are not an emulsifier. It is awesome in balms. Yeah, I love. You can even in your body butter use beeswax, but it's not going to be an ingredient to emulsify your stuff. So only two ingredients that you're going to add that you're going to need extra. So that's the only downsides to it. The rest are just positives all the way. So let's just do it. Okay, on the table here I've got our three phases in three different kinds of ingredients. We have our water phase, that's going to be a heated water phase. We're going to have a heated oil phase, and we're going to have a cool down phase. Now with our heated water phase, what I'm gonna give you the formulation for 100 gram batch. I increased it, I doubled it here because I've got a little larger container that I want to fill. So, but the formulation is as follows. You're going to have 63.5 grams of distilled water. Then to that you're going to add 3 grams of glycerin and 2 grams of sodium lactate. If you don't have glycerin or sodium lactate, then you're just going to add 5 grams of extra distilled water. That is the bare bones recipe. It's just going to be distilled water there. And yes, preferably distilled water, because you want to start as clean and germ free as possible. Okay, your second ingredients are going to be your heated oil phase. Now in here I do have 15 grams of tallow. You can replace the tallow with shea butter if you want a vegan version. Then I added 5 grams of sunflower oil. Now you can use any lightweight oil that you love. So if you want to use olive oil, apricot kernel, doesn't matter, all of them are going to work. And then I've added 2 grams of cetyl alcohol. Now cetyl alcohol is one of those lovely ingredients. Cetyl alcohol is not drying on your skin like a volatile alcohol. Cetyl alcohol is a fatty alcohol. So this is an emollient. It softens the skin, and it also contributes to a dreamy, almost powdery feel to your formulation that makes it feel less greasy. So that's the main reason why I add it to my formulations, is just for the skin feel. It's awesome. It just feels so nice. But you can omit it completely if you want to. If you don't have cetyl alcohol, or if you decide you don't want to use cetyl alcohol, just use 2 grams of tallow or shea butter extra in your formulation. So this is a very adjustable formulation that I'm giving you. So play around with it and have fun. Okay, and then our last one is going to be our cool down phase ingredients. So in the cool down phase ingredients, what I've got here is 1 gram of essential oil or fragrance oil. I'm using a mix of pine needle, spearmint and cedarwood. So I like the woodsy fragrance of this as well. And then I've added 1 gram of preservative. Okay, the preservative I'm using is Euxil PE 9010. I have to try to remember it. I'm just going to put the correct one on the screen if I mispronounced it or got the wrong numbers there. But the reason why I'm using Euxil is it's more a natural preservative, and it is effective in a wide range of pH. So if it's acidic or alkaline, it actually is still effective in the whole range there, or basically the whole range. This recipe is around about 5.5, so it's a little bit to the acidic side. It's very much the same as what our skin acidity is normally. So yeah, that is where I'm working with. You can use preservatives with parabens in it. There are mixed opinions about parabens. I like to just skip it altogether because I can't really get, you know, the people that sells them says it's good, and the people that go natural says it's not, and then the in-betweener. So I decided, you know, go for Euxil. It does not have any parabens in it. Euxil is a wide spectrum, so it does do yeast, bacteria, and so on at a very low percentage. So we're just going to, you can use it between 0.5% and 1%. So for a 100 gram batch, I'm adding 1 gram, and I know we are good to go. And then my last ingredient is vitamin E oil. Now vitamin E oil is also an optional one. It's an antioxidant that actually extends the shelf life of your oils in your formulation, and vitamin E is also awesome for your skin. So for me, I like to add it. If you don't want to add it, replace it with the sunflower oil or the other lightweight oil. So that is all we've got here. So now I'm going to show you, we're going to heat this in a double boiler, or I've got a lovely present. I'm going to share that with you. So that is the option, but a double boiler works perfectly. I'm going to just quickly show you how to put it together. Then we're going to melt it together. Now our heated phase are going to be dependent on what kind of emulsifying wax we are using. The emulsifying waxes I'm going to share with you, I'm using emulsifying wax NF. It's readily available all over the world apparently, so that was the one I was going with here. If you want to go even more natural, you can go for Olive M 1000. I think it's a 1000. I will put it on the screen if I've got it wrong there, but I believe it's Olive M 1000. So that is a really natural one. So there are many. Polar wax, there's really a huge variety. For this formulation, basically all of the emulsifying waxes does work. You're going to have maybe a little bit of a thinner end product, or maybe a little bit of a thicker end product. Most of the emulsifying waxes got an emulsifier in it as well as a thickener. Cetyl alcohol is also a thickener. Cetyl alcohol is in some of the emulsifying waxes as well. So yeah, I'm going to show you how to melt this down, how we're going to whip it together and get our lovely end product. And I got so excited about all the ingredients that we can add with the water phase that I forgot to tell you why I don't really like a whipped body butter. Whipped body butters are a little bit unstable, like me. When it gets cold, then they go really hard. And when it's a little bit warmer, you've got this lovely whipped body butter that is fluffy. And the next moment they are deflated and oily because they don't like heat. So especially if you sell your products and you send it to your clients, then you don't know how they're going to treat it in between from where you send it and where they receive it. It might stand in the sun. Yeah, you just don't know what's going to happen to it. So you don't really know if your product is going to be in top condition when it arrives at the other side. Where with the emulsified body butter, it is the same consistency. It doesn't really matter if it's warm or cold. Temperature fluctuations doesn't really influence it much at all. So that's something to keep in mind if you want to sell your stuff as well. Okay, for your makeshift double boiler, you're just going to need a pot. You're going to add a piece of cotton fabric in the bottom, just so that you insulate it a little bit from the direct heat. You're going to add your containers in there, and you're going to fill it up with water to right about the same level as your oil phase. If you heat it up too much, if you fill it up too much, this can topple over. So as long as there is water touching it, then it will melt eventually. And you're going to place it on the heat, and you're going to heat it up until everything is melted down on this side. Then it should be the same temperature, and we can move over to the next one. But I've got a nifty little tool what I'm going to show off first. Okay, or you can use a baby bottle warmer. Now, this baby bottle warmer was gifted to me by Marie from Mugs & More. She makes the most divine wax melts. I think we must do a wax melt collaboration at some time for you guys. And she also does personal sublimation, printed gifts and t-shirts. And unfortunately, she only ships in South Africa. So sorry you guys, you might have Amazon, we have Mugs & More. Okay, so thank you very much, Marie, for my gift. This is really, really nice. Now this comes with a little holder that you can add your containers upside down, and you can sterilize it, so you have a sterilization option here as well. I'm just going to add my two containers, the heated oil and the heated water phase. I'm just going to add a little bit of water in here to make sure that my level is there, and then you can choose your function. So I'm just going to choose food, and I'm going to ramp it up to 80 degrees Celsius. This is the temperature I want it to be, and this is the temperature it is at the moment. So it will heat it up to 80 until everything is heated thoroughly, and then we're going to mix it together. Then I'm going to show you the next step as soon as we reach temperature. Okay, now we're going to mix our heated oil phase and our heated water phase. We are going to add our water to our oil. Try to get all of it out of there. Place that aside, and then stir a little bit, and then we're going to use our stick blender. It's not going to work if you use a whisk. You need high shear. You need to emulsify these guys. So you can try it with a whisk, but I don't think it's going to work. So let's just go on this one, burp it, get the air bubbles out of it, and there we go. You're just going to give a few bursts, then you can take the stick blender out of it, and then you can stir it for a little while. And you're going to alternate between stick blending and stirring until it cools down. At this moment it's around about 80 degrees Celsius, or 75 degrees, 80 degrees, so it's about 167 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, I'm just going to alternate between the two until it cools down below 50 degrees Celsius. Usually it starts to rise around about 48 degrees Celsius, around about there. As soon as you see it rise, then you're going to add your cool down phase ingredients, which is our heat sensitive ingredients, and stir it properly, and then we're going to decant it in our container there. Okay, here you can see it is thickening up, so we are reaching a thick trace or a medium trace at the moment. So this is a good indication that you can add your cool down ingredients. It's less than 50 degrees Celsius, it's 49.1 at the moment. So then you're just going to add this. I usually pour it into the container, stir it a bit, and then you see there's quite a bit left here. Let me just get a light background. You can see there's quite a bit in here still. So the best way to get all of that out there is add a little bit of your parent batch into that container, stir it a bit, incorporate it properly there, and then just add it back to your parent batch. There we go. I'm just going to give it a quick stick blend again, and then we should be able to just stir it and decant it. You're going to leave it open until it cools down to room temperature, because if you put the lid on top of it, it's going to make it's going to condensate on the top, and then that condensation doesn't contain any preservative in it, so it can grow mold and yeast and stuff. So just let it cool down completely, and then you can close the lid. Okay, and to give you an idea, a tiny bit goes a long way, and it absorbs beautifully into your skin. So I just love tallow balm, and there you got it. Thank you for spending time with me. Please like and subscribe, press the notification bell, and then I'll see you again in the next video. Keep well and keep safe.